Rappers who went broke, Goons and Goblins. You know what time it is. Let's get to it.
Before filing for bankruptcy, 50 Cent was spending $108,000 per month to rent
Well,
an 18-bedroom
damn.
mega mansion, while T-Pain's bankruptcy was so brutal that by the end of it, he had
T-Pain. Yo, what the? Some
to borrow
Burger
money
King?
just to buy Burger King.
He had to borrow money to buy Burger King? I thought he streamed. Yo, that is crazy. Bro, Burger King cheap as hell, bro. What? How much money did you fucking spend?
However, let's begin
How many drinks did you buy for them shorties? Damn.
by talking about DMX, who had to file for
Wait, didn't he
bankruptcy
die?
on 3 separate
R.I.P.
occasions as he couldn't afford child support. You
Mm.
see, DMX had 17 children with
My lord. At a point in time, y'all just gotta chill out. Y'all gotta calm down. There's too many kids. Too many little niggas running around. There's too many. Shoot, it's finna be Nick Cannon in a minute if you don't calm the fuck down.
11 different women, and
11?
almost every child resulted in some kind of lawsuit or child support requirement.
Damn,
For example,
how you have
DMX was
17
sued for
kids and looked after
$1.5 million
none of
worth
them?
of child support in 2008 after a genetic test confirmed that he was the father of a previously unclaimed baby, which when combined with his declining music career, resulted in his first bankruptcy filing. 4 years later in 2012, DMX was sued by a different ex-partner
It's
for a
crazy how
further
much
$1
money
million
a condom
worth of
could
child
save you.
support, and a year after this lawsuit, he'd filed for bankruptcy a second time. His
Damn.
third bankruptcy would occur in 2016, during which it would be discovered that DMX had racked up a further $1.7 million worth of unpaid child and family support,
God
which accompanied
damn.
$950,000 in bank debt and $1.7 million worth of tax debt. Since he had $0 in his bank account, DMX was sentenced to 6 months in prison for the child support, a further year in prison for the unpaid taxes, and was also ordered to pay the government $2.29 million in restitution after he was released from his time behind bars. However, DMX never had the chance to pay the amount back in
Yeah,
full
he
as he
did
died
sadly
in
pass
April
away.
2021, and despite his extensive family tree, DMX never wrote a will, meaning that his family was still involved in money-related legal battles even after he was dead and buried.
Damn, dickhead. I'm so sorry, but R.I.P. That's a dickhead move.
Tiger was certainly better at managing
Tiger? He's broke now?
his child support payments, although he definitely had a weakness when it came to luxury spending. After cultivating his career as a successful rapper, Tiger's name entered news headlines after he'd purchased
Didn't
a
he mess with a
$200,000
Kardashian?
Mercedes Maybach for his girlfriend, while being $480,000 behind in rental payments on a luxury Malibu
He is messing with
home.
her.
As a
Well, he
result,
was.
Tiger was sued by his landlord, although he'd failed to show up to court as he was on holiday in Turks and Caicos. Yet this situation wasn't the only example of Tiger spending big in one area while being financially behind in another. For example, in
Lord.
2016, while shopping for a new Bentley, Tiger's Ferrari 458 was repossessed in the parking lot as Tiger hadn't been paying for the loan.
Damn.
Despite this, Tiger would go
And he was finna buy a whole nother car, bro. Nigga paid off the one.
to purchase another Mercedes Maybach, as well as a Land
All
Rover,
these
a
damn
Rolls-Royce Ghost, and a
cars.
Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
You are one man. You don't need all these damn cars, man. You don't need all these cars. Stick with two and get on with your life. You don't need all these cars. Half of these things don't even look attractive. You just like it because of the name and the prestige. Calm down, Tiger. You're broke.
All of which were repossessed for non-payment, while he was
Gosh.
seen looking at a brand new Lamborghini.
How many cars this nigga need? How many cars this nigga need, man?
In addition to this, Tiger was sued by a second landlord for $181,000 after once again missing rental payments in 2016, which was
He's a
followed
LA
by a
rapper?
third property-related lawsuit in
that.
2020, where Tiger had racked up over $200,000 in damages and unpaid rent on yet another rental property. It was then revealed that Tiger was being court-ordered to pay for $200,000 worth of unpaid
Unpaid bling. You just didn't give a fuck. You was just, yep, that right there. Yep, that right there. You were just buying shit at this point.
jewelry, which accompanied the accusation by his ex-girlfriend
Oh,
Black China
Lord.
that he'd been missing child support payments.
Oh,
And just to add a
Lord.
cherry on top of the cake, while all of this was going down, Tiger was in $890,000 worth of tax debt to the government.
Lord.
Despite
You
all
about
of
to
this,
have- you gonna
Tiger
have to drop another album to pay that off. And you know that album ain't going, it ain't gonna bring you that much money now. You fell off, Tiger. Sorry.
Still seen flexing a lavish life on social media, which is a luxury unavailable to rap producer
What the hell
Scott
is that?
Storch, who blew through $70 million in less than 3 years.
That is
Scott had
crazy.
earned this money by producing for some of the
Hey,
biggest names
yo.
in music, including Kanye West, Dr. Dre, and
Yay!
Jay-Z. Yet Scott Storch's insane net worth began to diminish after he'd purchased an insane supercar collection.
30 cars, including Bugattis and
30 cars. The only reason I would get 30 cars is if I'm gonna sell those cars. Like, why they just keep? That's why I don't understand. Why would they keep a car for show? That is a waste of money and car payments. Man, sell that thing, man.
Ferraris and all
You
that
are
kind
not
of stuff.
As
Mr.
well
Beast,
as a
bitch.
$10.5 million mansion.
Goodness gracious. Where is this? Beverly Hills? Man, my house looks like a shed compared to that shit. Oh my goodness, bro. The life, man. The life.
Where he housed more than 20 staff, including
I would
a
never
boat
wanna live
captain,
anywhere that
just
big.
in case he wanted to go out on his yacht.
He owns a yacht. Rich
Captain was on
niggas.
full-time staff?
Yeah.
In case you want to take the boat out?
Yeah.
And the boat was how many bedrooms?
7,
7-bedroom boat, worth
Seven
about how much?
bedroom.
20 million.
20 million.
Scott went on to explain just how much this lifestyle was costing him.
My monthly overhead for my household employees was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million a month I was spending.
And that if he continued to
million
work, there wouldn't
dollars
have been
a
any
month.
problem.
Now that bill alone should have told you maybe I should calm the fuck down. But no, you didn't calm down, which is why you're on this list, buddy boy. Bro.
Although this isn't what he would do.
It went from me working and delivering to
being on
doing
the road.
drugs and not going to the studio.
I just stopped working.
Oh,
then
and you
I
got the money to
buy
pay
some
for drugs.
jewelry.
As
Which is
mentioned, Scott
expensive, by the
stopped
way.
making
That
music and instead began to get addicted to the nightlife in Miami. And with
Oh.
no money
What happens in Miami, like KC3000 said, stays in Miami.
coming in plus $1 million a month going out, it was only going to be so long before Scott hit zero. By 2009,
That zero
just
hit
3 years
hard.
after having a net worth of $70 million, Scott had filed for bankruptcy. 6 years later, Scott would file for bankruptcy a second time, claiming to have a grand
better
total
hit
of
up-
$3,600
hit up
of
JT
assets to
and be like,
his
"Yo,
name,
let's
$100
run another
in
album."
cash, $500 in clothing, and a $3,000
That's the thing about y'all. Listen, y'all. Once you made it, like this man right here, you can't just go spinning around and all this shit, man. You gotta have a steady income in if you want to keep spending all this money, bruh. Other than that, invest.
watch.
'Cause
Most shocking, his music
you see
companies
what
are valued
happens
at
when you don't.
$0, and in 2014 he made a grand total of only $10,000. Throughout this hardship, Fat Joe
That's
was one
still
of the
more than
only
me.
rappers to keep their friendship with Scott, possibly because Fat Joe went through a similar situation himself. Fat Joe had earned $1.18 million in 2007, $1.28 million in 2008, $265,000 in
Oh,
2009,
oh.
and $630,000 in 2010. However, despite having made this $3.3 million in only 4 years, Fat Joe failed to pay taxes on it. He was able
Oh Lord, listen, they don't play about their taxes, bro. They don't play about their taxes. All right, get it done, do it.
to come up
don't
with
play.
$718,000 and had also done extensive charity work. However, this wasn't enough to satisfy the judge, who sentenced Fat Joe to 4 months in prison. Despite taking
tore his
personal
little fat ass
responsibility
up.
for his actions by stating, "There was a lot going on in the years that I didn't file my taxes, but it was my responsibility."
It was.
Less than 4 years later, Fat Joe entered news headlines again after the IRS revealed that he still owed them $1.1 million in
Fat lying.
taxes. However, this number was absolutely nothing
Who is
in
that?
comparison to Fat Joe's friend Lil Kim, who owed almost 4 times more and became, quote, too poor to file for bankruptcy.
How's that even
Lil Kim wasn't
possible?
nearly as successful as some of the other rappers featured on
I
this
heard of her a
list.
little bit.
However, this didn't stop her from purchasing a $2.3 million
Is that tennis court hers? That is wild. Why do you need a tennis court? Why do you need this big of a house, bro?
mansion back in 2002, notably with the help of
Money
a
makes you
mortgage.
do some
Throughout the
stupid
2000s, Kim's music career slowed dramatically, and by 2018, Kim was filing for bankruptcy as she still owed the full $2 million on her property, despite the 16 years that had passed. In addition to this,
It's like,
Kim now
if
owed
you
$1.85 million
get
to
the
the government
biggest-
for
if you're gonna get
13
the
years
biggest
worth
house,
of unpaid taxes, which
you're gonna have
accompanied
to
a further
keep working, not
$185,000
just
in
retire.
unpaid legal fees. The bankruptcy became even worse after discovering that by 2018, 2018, Kim was earning a comparatively small $18,000 per month, of which $2,000 went to staff, another $2,000 went to clothing, and $10,000 went to travel fees, meaning she had less than $4,000 per month to dig herself out of $4 million worth of debt. Somehow Lil' Kim managed to,
math hit
quote,
hard.
get her finances into good shape, and her bankruptcy filing was dismissed. However, MC Hammer wasn't quite so lucky. Despite having the 5th
Can't touch
best-selling
this.
hip-hop album of all time, which sold 17 million copies and featured songs such as You Can't Touch This, MC Hammer wasn't able to stay out of financial trouble. He bought more than 17 luxury cars, a private jet, 2 helicopters, and 21 racehorses. Some of the horses were valued at around $1 million.
What the fuck you need a horse for?
Most of his expenses, however, were on his home. He bought a property in Fremont, California for $12 million and spent another $30 million on renovations to turn it into his dream home. He added a bowling alley, basketball court, baseball field, recording studio, movie theater, 17-car garage, tennis courts, and 2 swimming pools to the
This nigga is rich. Well, was rich until he went broke. But damn, the fuck you did? You just did not want to go outside. A bowling alley, basketball court, baseball field, recording studio, movie theater, tennis court, swimming pools. You better be a D1 athlete after you. You must be a D1 athlete, my boy.
40,000 square foot mansion. One of the pools was shaped like his signature baggy pants that came to be known as Hammer Pants. He added several marble statues of himself throughout the property and
Having a statue of yourself is just such an ego.
installed a gold hot tub in his bedroom.
A gold fucking hot tub. Listen to that. Why the fuck do you need that?
And to keep
That shit
everything
better
running smoothly,
wash
he employed
me
a staff
itself.
of nearly 200 people on the property, which cost him an estimated $500,000 a month.
That's the thing. When you get this big of a mansion, you're gonna need people to work in the mansion. So it's like, why go through all that trouble if you can have a smaller house with no one to pay? You know?
Unsurprisingly, less than 5 years later, MC Hammer had filed for
This is
bankruptcy,
in
at which point it would be
1996.
revealed that he hadn't only spent his entire $70 million fortune, but had also taken on a further $13 million in loans, which had been borrowed from over 200 different lending institutions. Despite having spent a total of $42 million on his California dream home, the property resold for only
How you got your dream home and then settled down and got satisfied? You weren't dropping other hits, man.
$5 million. However, if we're on the topic
I
of
remember this guy.
expensive
Is this
homes
Birdman?
being repossessed by the bank, we need to talk about Birdman, who's ranked as the
what you know
15th
about
richest
Birdman?
rapper in the world with a net worth of
Lil Wayne, Eminem, Timbaland.
$110 million. But this is what
Cool
makes
J.
Birdman's story unique. If he was worth over $100 million, why was his Miami mansion being repossessed by the bank for non-payment? Birdman had purchased the home back in 2012 for
Wow, that is a pretty house. I wonder who owns like half of these houses that just like got repossessed or some shit. Who bought them?
$14.5 million, yet by 2007,
This is, oh wow, man, I feel like a
foreclosure suit had been filed by the bank,
Peasant.
and quote, all personal items within the home, including platinum records gracing the walls, a pool table, and dozens of pairs of shoes, were all confiscated and placed in storage. The mansion was eventually sold by the bank for $10.85 million in July
If I see that was going slowly broke, I would just sold the mansion.
2020. However, Birdman's lawyer has come out to explain the foreclosure, stating that it was the result of illegal loan terms set by the bank, so perhaps take Birdman's bankruptcy with a grain of salt. However, there's no ambiguity around how T-Pain went broke, as he
T-Pizzle. I thought he streamed on Twitch. That's probably why he is streaming on Twitch.
He's now come on multiple podcasts to explain just how brutal his bankruptcy was. T-Pain had built up a net worth of over $40 million at his peak in 2007, with all of his closest rap friends advising him that as long as he kept rapping, the money would keep on coming
As long as you keep rapping and the money's falling in, you should be alright.
in.
Everybody before me that I had to look up to, they were just like, no, this is great. Once you start rapping, it's just money all the time. Nothing bad's ever gonna happen. Your family's not gonna come after you. Just rap, and it's just girls and swimming pools after this.
What the hell is that?
For this reason, his spending began to get out of control.
I bought my Bugatti.
He bought it for $2.1 million.
2.1.
Who Who the hell was that talking with that emphysema? God damn, lay off smokes, y'all.
$1 million.
And then you very shortly thereafter
Oh,
you sold
God.
it for all they gave you was 800,000.
Yeah.
So it was like
Lord.
renting a car for 1.3 million dollars.
Yeah.
with the purchase of his
Oh, Lord,
Bugatti
put
accompanying a
tobacco down.
$400,000
That
chain
that is an ugly ass fucking
and
chain.
houses for his workmates.
I got this house I want to get. I got this other house for my assistants and, you know, all my runners and my producers and stuff. So we bought a house after that and we just started going crazy with the money. I wasn't paying attention to it.
Which was extra bad as T-Pain never even checked in on how much money he had.
I didn't want to know because I was led to believe that it's only gonna grow. Because these
Still
rappers
got
telling
bling
me
on.
that I'm just gonna make money
Can't be
forever.
that
It's just
broke.
gonna keep going up and up.
In the process, T-Pain began to create less music, and within a few years, his accountant was advising him that he was almost out of money.
My accountant was like, dude, you're like,
That
out of
must
money.
be
And
hard.
I was like, no, I'm not.
And while
That must
T-Pain
be
seemed confident that he
heart-shaking,
had plenty
breaking.
of cash left, reality set in for him after he'd have to
For a
borrow
rapper.
money just to buy food.
When you say you was broke, was you had like $0 broke?
I
like
like had
liquor
to
in
borrow
the
money to get my kids Burger King.
What's the most you ever had in the bank at one time?
40 million.
However, T-Pain was lucky to get away with a loss of only 40 million, as the
Lord.
final person on our list makes
Oh,
this
I heard
number
this
look
nigga's
like
son was
loose
wildin'
change.
too.
50 Cent. 50 didn't only
name is
release the
50
10th
Cent, but he can
best-selling
barely get
American
that
hip-hop
amount of
album
money.
of all time, but he also made over $100 million on a vitamin water investment, plus a further $78 million from a luxury underwear deal. In the late 2000s, 50 Cent made an estimated $300 million in only
Smart
2
man.
years, so when it announced that he was filing for bankruptcy in mid-2015, with debts totaling over $32 million, the entire world was thinking the same thing. How did this happen? Well, after 50 Cent uploaded a sex tape with Rick Ross's girlfriend, 50 was successfully sued for $7 million, which accompanied another court order for 50 Cent to pay $17 million to a headphone manufacturer after one of their collabs went sour. 50 Cent's clothing company G-Unit Clothing then fell out of the spotlight, which accompanied the closing of his movie company G-Unit Productions, as well as his boxing company SMS Promotions. Throughout the whole process, the global financial crisis had taken a toll on the value of 50 Cent's investments, and by 2015 he was earning a comparatively small $185,000 per month.
God damn! Spend your money wisely. Spend your money wisely.
You could certainly argue that this was enough for 50
He
to
went
get
from
back on his
eating
feet.
money
However,
to eating dirt.
$108,000 of this monthly income was going toward an 18-bedroom mega mansion, while the remaining $77,000 was going toward menial expenses such as his gardener, with bankruptcy documents revealing that 50 Cent still owed money to his stylist, fitness coach, and even his barber.
How
Despite
you
this,
owe
he
money
began
to
to
your goddamn barber? You just got a cut and then left? You see, they don't do that over here, bro. You better pay him or you're not.
on social media with posts such as this one, spelling out the word broke with $100 bills, and within 2 years, 50 Cent had paid back $23 million worth of his $32 million debt. 50 Cent eventually got back to zero, and according to Google, has built up a net worth of $40 million over the last 5 years.
Okay, that's a W. Okay, that's a W. He paid it back. Okay, that's a real man. That's a real nigga. Okay, props to that man. Props to that. Props to that. All right, y'all. We gotta cut it here. And just a little goon goblin advice. Spend your money wisely. That's all I'm gonna say. Have a great day, y'all.